If there is one voice that could glide from smoky R&B nights to a church-shaking gospel morning and still leave chills crawling up your spine, it is Regina Belle. But behind that divine voice? A life of breathtaking highs, heartbreaking betrayals, and plot twists straight out of a late-night thriller. Buckle up, this is not just music history. This is a saga. Born Regina Elaine Belle on July 17, 1963, in Englewood, New Jersey, her destiny was already whispering long before the world knew her name. Her parents, Eugene and Lois Belle, laid down the first bricks of a musical empire without even realizing it. Social media today would call them the original hype team. Yet no one could have guessed how much turbulence was waiting for their little girl. Picture it, an 8-year-old stepping into the pulpit at Mount Calvary Baptist Church. Not a hint of fear. She belts out a solo so powerful that the congregation falls silent, then explodes in awe. Comments would have flooded X and TikTok with, "Fire, this kid is unreal." But Regina was just warming up. Soon she moved to Friendship Baptist Church in Paterson, where her uncle, Reverend Fred Bell, ran the show. That is where the fire truly caught. Family in the pulpit, Regina on the mic, and an entire church losing their breath. It was not simply talent. It was destiny clawing its way out. Still, Regina never played the stereotype of the church girl waiting for a spotlight. At Dwight Morrow High School, she was hustling. Trombone, tuba, steel drums. While other teens were worrying about Friday night plans, she was mastering sounds that would one day make her a genre-defying legend. The dedication was so fierce you would think she had seen the future and knew fame was not a dream but an appointment. Then came the first plot twist. Instead of chasing quick fame, Regina went classical. Opera training at the Manhattan School of Music. Imagine that, while most R&B hopefuls were fighting for mic time in smoky clubs, Regina was perfecting European classical music. It was a move that stunned everyone. Some critics even whispered, "Is she leaving gospel behind?" The tension was real. Next stop, Rutgers University. And here the story explodes. Regina became the first female vocalist with the school's jazz ensemble. First female vocalist. Let that sink in. Surrounded by skeptical male musicians, she did not merely survive, she dominated. Rehearsal rooms became battlegrounds. Every note she hit was like saying, "Watch me rewrite the rules." Had social media existed back then, hashtags like #BreakTheCeiling and #JazzQueen would have trended for weeks. But success has a dark side. Fame began to chase her with the same intensity that music once did. Industry whispers. Power plays. People smiling in her face while quietly betting on her failure. Some friends turned into strangers. Some allies into obstacles. This was not just a music career, it was a survival game. And this, dear viewers, is only the opening act of Regina Belle's breathtaking saga. From Grammy triumphs to life-altering health battles, from Disney fairy tale moments to gospel rebirths, each chapter hits like a shockwave. Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the more the betrayals, the comebacks, and the jaw-dropping turns will make you question everything you thought you knew about this unstoppable queen. By the time Regina Belle hit her early 20s, whether it was 27-ish, 28-ish, or maybe even 25 when the industry first called, there was no gentle warm-up. The music machine stamped her right into adult contemporary, as if everyone already knew her voice belonged in the big leagues. But Regina was not wandering blind through the maze of fame. She came armed with a sacred list of icons who had already mapped the road. Legends like Phyllis Hyman, Billie Holiday, Shirley Caesar, Patti LaBelle, and Nancy Wilson, each one a universe of style and survival. Nancy, the eternal jazz queen, even passed the torch herself. "Baby," Nancy told her, "I am passing the baton to you." Imagine that moment. A living legend handing over the crown. The internet would have melted if that had happened today. Think viral hashtags like #BatontoBelle and #NextQueen. From gospel fire to jazz sophistication to pure diva drama, Regina absorbed it all. You could literally hear the recipe of greatness brewing inside every note. Then came the industry jolt that would rewrite her fate. New York radio powerhouse Von Harper spotted the spark and pulled one of those life-altering moves. He linked Regina with the legendary male vocal group the Manhattans. That single introduction became the earthquake of her career. Opening for the Manhattans should have been a polite warm-up. Instead, Regina stole shows outright. Fans walked out remembering her name as loudly as the headliners. Twitter today would have been all caps, "Forget the main act, who is Regina Belle?" The shock was real. And then the studio magic started. First duet, "Where Did We Go Wrong?" on the Manhattans' Back to Basics album. It was more than a song, it was a calling card. People started asking, "Wait, who is this Belle girl lighting up the B-side?" She doubled the buzz with "Maybe Tomorrow," another duet tucked as the B-side. Even that secondary track began spinning like a secret anthem. DJs whispered her name. Fans demanded more. Behind the scenes, Columbia Records was quietly watching every move. Think of corporate scouts refreshing her mentions in stealth mode. Finally they made their play and signed her. Just like that, Regina Belle transformed from church soloist and college jazz pioneer into a signed recording artist, an official contender in the cutthroat music arena. But while her career blazed, her personal life added its own storm clouds. In 1985, before the giant record deals, Regina married saxophonist and flute player Horace Alexander Young. A musician meets musician romance. On paper, it was perfect harmony. They even adopted a baby girl, Tia, in 1989. For a moment, it looked like music and love had found their perfect duet. Then came the quiet heartbreak. By 1990, that love song faded out. The marriage ended. Social media today would have split into camps, #ProtectRegina and #WhatHappened. Regina, however, did what survivors do. She kept moving forward, carrying both the music and the memories. Professionally, she was unstoppable. By 1987, while life tugged in different directions, she launched her first solo album, All By Myself. And she did not tiptoe in. The record came swinging with explosive tracks like So Many Tears and Show Me the Way. Audiences who once knew her only as the girl with a golden church voice suddenly recognized her as a full-scale star. DJs could not stop spinning it. Fans could not stop talking about it. But Regina was not even close to finished. That same powerhouse year, she recorded her first major duet with the velvet-voiced Peabo Bryson, Without You. Critics might have shrugged at first, calling it not the biggest hit, but the numbers told a different story. The single cracked 4 different charts, climbing to number 8 on the adult contemporary list and sneaking into the UK singles chart at number 85. In an era without social media virality, that was proof she was crossing oceans on pure talent. By 1989, Regina Belle had no interest in becoming a one-album wonder. She dropped her second album, Stay With Me, and showed the industry she was here for legacy, not just headlines. Each release, each performance, and each silent victory over heartbreak built the myth of a woman who would not just sing, but survive every storm and turn pain into platinum. Regina Belle was not slowing down. By the early 1990s, she was not merely the girl with a golden duet touch, she was owning entire eras. Album after album, she kept her foot locked on the gas, reshaping her lane with every release. The insiders began whispering, she is no longer a feature, she is the headline. Then came a double strike of career and life that would define a decade. In 1991, Regina joined forces with the incomparable Johnny Mathis for the sweeping ballad, Better Together. Old-school royalty met fresh power, and Regina held the stage like she had been born for that exact microphone handoff. Music heads nodded. This was a voice that could share space with legends and not lose an ounce of shine. But life's biggest moves sometimes happen away from the spotlight. June 25, 1991, while the world talked about chart positions, Regina rewrote her personal story. She married John Battle, a former NBA star. Together, they built a family with the depth of an epic. 4 children in total, Winter and Jalen, then later Sydney in 1994 and Nyla in 1995. 2 adopted, 2 biological. It was a home full of music, laughter, and, unseen by the public, heartbreak. Twice, Regina faced the unimaginable loss of twin boys. Twice, she walked through grief that could shatter anyone. And yet she stood, embodying the kind of quiet mama strength that never makes headlines but shapes legends. Even now, Regina celebrates a next generation, grandchildren Thea and Joshua, Winter's children, proof that love outlives pain. But as always, music never left her side. Her artistic chemistry with Peabo Bryson was proof. After their first spark with Without You in 1987, they returned in 1991 with I Can't Imagine. The connection was still electric. And then came the explosion. In 1992, Regina Belle and Peabo Bryson gifted the world A Whole New World, the unforgettable theme from Disney's Aladdin. It was not just a song. It was a global moment, a soundtrack to weddings, childhood dreams, and every living room that owned a Disney VHS tape. It won a Grammy Award and took Regina from acclaimed R&B gospel jazz hybrid to planet-wide superstar. The aftershocks carried her into 1993, when she released her third album, Passion. Fueled by the Disney magic and anchored by new hits, the record went platinum. Picture the 90s, radio countdowns ruled, MTV still played videos, and passion was everywhere. Regina had shifted from respected artist to pop cultural heartbeat. But she did not stop at one fairy tale anthem. In 1994, she teamed with Jeffrey Osborne to record Far Longer Than Forever for the animated movie The Swan Princess. The song earned a Golden Globe nomination for Best Original Song in 1995, another jewel in a crown already sparkling. Still, Regina kept proving she was more than a single hit or a single genre. That same year, she released Reaching Back, a love letter to the R&B classics that raised her. In 1998, she followed with Believe in Me, reaffirming that she was not a nostalgia act but an artist still writing her future. Her bond with Peabo Bryson kept surfacing like fate refusing to let go. In 2009, over 2 decades after their first duet, they returned with Total Praise, a gospel collaboration that felt like a full-circle blessing. By the early 2000s, Regina was already a seasoned name when fate handed her another surprise. In 2001, her lush cover of Just the Two of Us, recorded for the tribute album to Grover with Love, suddenly climbed the Billboard charts. The industry snapped to attention. She is back. Regina wasted no time. She signed with the smooth jazz powerhouse Peak/Concord Jazz, where she released This Is Regina. The album glowed with standouts like Ooh Boy, a radio darling that floated through lounges and late-night drives. Tracks like Do Not Want to Go Home and her collaboration, From Now On, with Glenn Jones reminded everyone of her unshakable range. Then came a graceful left turn. In 2004, she unveiled Lazy Afternoon, a jazz standard album produced by none other than George Duke, a master of sonic magic. Here Regina leaned into elegance, draping her voice over the Isley Brothers' For the Love of You and reshaping Tony Bennett's If I Ruled the World into something entirely hers. It was not trend-chasing. It was artistry in its purest form. And still she refused to slow down. By 2007, Regina was co-writing and singing alongside smooth jazz saxophonist Paul Taylor on his album Lady's Choice, delivering a sound so seamless that critics called it velvet on vinyl. It was yet another reminder that reinvention was her superpower. Regina Belle's second wind was never some slick industry stunt. For years she worked in near secrecy, intimate clubs, late-night sets, and unshakable rehearsals, keeping her craft razor sharp while mainstream lights dimmed. When her music roared back, it was not because of a marketing trick. It was pure artistry breaking through. Her cover of Just the Two of Us, recorded for the Grover Washington Jr. tribute to Grover with Love, hit like a soft thunderclap. No hashtags, no gimmicks, just that warm, lived-in voice carrying decades of experience and wonder. Late-night DJs spun it, callers demanded to know who that voice belonged to, and soon Regina Belle was on the Billboard charts again. The comeback felt mystical, as if music itself had been waiting for her return. Her next move sealed the deal. Signing with Concord Jazz, a label known for sophistication without strangling creativity, she released This Is Regina. The album balanced smoky jazz textures with the soulful R&B hooks that first made fans fall hard. Ooh Boy, with its sunset groove, became an instant summer soundtrack. Songs like Do Not Want to Go Home revealed her storytelling strength, while the Glenn Jones collaboration, From Now On, proved she was still chasing fresh chemistry rather than replaying old formulas. Then came 2004 and a daring leap. Regina recorded Lazy Afternoon, a full-on jazz standards album produced by the legendary George Duke. Jazz purists are notoriously hard to please, but Belle stepped in with the confidence of someone who had nothing to prove and everything to say. Her velvet take on the Isley Brothers, For the Love of You, and a dream like If I Ruled the World, became more than covers. They were emotional reimaginings, turning familiar classics into brand new journeys. By 2007, Belle was deep in the creative driver's seat. She co-wrote and sang on smooth jazz saxophonist Paul Taylor's Lady's Choice, each saxophone line weaving a late-night conversation with her voice. Critics and fans alike felt it. She was not merely lending vocals, she was shaping the music itself. But the next move would reveal her soul. In 2008, Regina decided to return to her first calling, gospel. Her debut gospel project Love Forever Shines was a 14-track testimony, thick with Sunday morning spirit and guest appearances by gospel greats Melvin Williams and Shirley Murdoch. This was no crossover experiment. It was Regina Belle standing in her truth. Then the storm hit. 2009 became the year that could have ended everything. Doctors found a brain tumor, and what was supposed to be a simple, 2-hour surgery stretched into 8 tense, life-threatening hours. The procedure saved her life but left her deaf in one ear. For many singers, that would have been the final curtain. For Regina Belle, it became new fuel. She told interviewers later that the scare only deepened her purpose. Instead of retreating, she came back with even more fire. By 2012, she released Higher, another gospel album on Pendulum Records. This was not a repeat, it was refined vision. Belle herself admitted that this second gospel project gave her a better understanding of what she wanted to say. The growth was audible, each song a mixture of survival scars and spiritual light. Even while she focused on gospel, Belle never stayed hidden. Throughout the 2000s and beyond, she graced stages with musical royalty, effortlessly sliding between R&B, jazz, and gospel, proving again and again that she was no relic of the 80s or 90s. Every live performance carried that rare electricity of someone who had nearly lost everything and sang like time was a borrowed miracle. Eventually, she eased back from recording, leaving fans with a mystery pause. Was it a quiet retirement, or simply the calm before yet another creative storm? Whatever the answer, one truth echoes through every era of her life: Regina Belle never chased relevance, she defined it, lost it, reclaimed it, and turned survival itself into music. By the mid-2010s, the rumor mill started buzzing. No blockbuster albums. No headline-grabbing collaborations. Did Regina Belle finally retire? The whispers floated through fan forums and late-night radio chatter. But behind the silence, Regina was plotting her next chapter in plain sight. Between 2013 and 2015, she stayed everywhere and nowhere at once: interviews, benefit concerts, quiet studio hours, a chess master moving pieces while everyone else watched the wrong board. Then came the thunderclap. On January 22, 2016, she dropped the day life began on Shanachie Records. No tabloid stunt. No overhyped rollout. Just music with teeth, a blend of R&B grit, gospel uplift, and jazz polish. It stormed onto the top gospel albums chart, landing at number 11 and earning instant fan love. Comments flooded social feeds: "She is back for real. Period." Tracks like "He's Alright" and the soaring title cut felt like Regina had taken every trial and triumph and set it to melody. From 2017 through 2021, she refused to coast. No retirement, no fade out. She toured relentlessly across jazz clubs, gospel festivals, and R&B showcases. Ticket stubs and live stream numbers became the receipts, each one proof that her classics still ignited new generations. Spotify and Apple Music streamed her catalog on repeat, turning old hits into timeless playlists. Then, 2022 brought another unexpected twist. Regina went festive and family deep with My Colorful Christmas, a 10-track celebration that included a duet with her daughter Sydney and a heartfelt piece co-written with her late brother Bernard. This was not nostalgia, it was a living family album. And she did it on her own terms, through her TI3 Entertainment label with Altavoz distribution, even hinting at future NFT ventures. Fans online called it the most wholesome power move of the year. By 2023 and 2024, the Christmas record kept glowing through holiday seasons, while Belle stayed visibly present in special features and live events. And now in 2025, the industry itself is catching up. She is being inducted into the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame, and she already has live shows booked well into 2026. In an age when careers evaporate overnight, Regina Belle is proving what real longevity looks like. Awards? Her trophy case reads like a victory map. The crown jewel remains her 1994 Grammy Award for A Whole New World, with Peabo Bryson, a song that also snatched Song of the Year at the Academy Awards, etching her name into global pop culture. Add in multiple Soul Train nods, an American Music Award, and Dove Awards from her gospel reign, and the picture is clear: Regina Belle collected honors across every stage she stepped on. And yes,